I'm out here enjoying a beautiful view of the San Antonio skyline. You can't see it on the GoPro, but I'll put a picture up here. And this is a spot that's a little bit difficult to get to. It's a couple miles of a hike, or it's a lot faster with a mountain bike. And as an outdoor enthusiast and mountain biker, I also like photography. So today I'm going to talk about how I use the Osprey Raptor 14, which is a common mountain bike backpack for my photography. I'll just give a quick overview of its features generally as a good mountain bike backpack, and then talk about how I carry camera gear in it, because there's some kind of cool little hacks you can do. It's not a camera bag. Camera bags, traditionally when you buy just a camera bag, they're going to have compartments just for cameras with little slots for you to fit your gear in. And while those are pretty good, I've really never found one that's super comfortable for hiking. I found good ones for hiking, but especially for mountain biking. When I mountain bike, I like to have the backpack hugging my back really tight, especially when I'm going down some pretty rocky terrain, which a lot of the trails here are kind of like this. And the Osprey Raptor 14 does a really good job of that. It's not going to bounce around even with a lot of camera gear in it. The second reason I like this as opposed to a traditional camera backpack is that traditional camera bags have a lot of space, and for good reason. That's what they're trying to sell, is a lot of space for your camera gear. But what this does is make it very tempting to bring way too much camera gear, which if you're like me, you have, and you always want to bring a long lens, and then like a wide lens, and then a zoom just in case, and then maybe something bizarre like a fisheye just in case. And then if you're also like me, you never end up using any of that stuff, maybe like one lens. So by having a smaller bag, a more comfortable bag for mountain biking, it means I bring less stuff, and that makes the hiking or the mountain biking way more enjoyable, which is what I'm really there for in the first place. Okay, so let's go over the general features of the Osprey Raptor 14 first. You may already be aware, but one of the neat things about it for mountain biking, down here at the bottom, we'll start at the bottom, is this little toolkit, as signified by the little tools. And this is a area that you can keep all your mountain biking equipment. I have a little pump in here. I have tools in here, or I'll pull it out so you can see. This rolls out. It makes a nice spot for you to set your tools and those little things you don't want to lose. You got some pockets. I got a patch kit in here, some tire levers. I actually have an inner tube in here as well. I'm not running tubeless. Some Allen keys. So this is a nice feature. I've had to bust this out several times, and it's just super nifty to have it all here and all organized. Also, this entire thing detaches right here. You could take it out of the bag and move it wherever. So that's handy if you want to leave your backpack aside and pull this up onto a table or a bench. Another nice reason to have this here is that you kind of set it and forget it. So I pack all my tools in here, and then I just never remove them out of the backpack because they're not in any other compartment where I'd have to move around stuff to get to it. So they always stay here, and even in my most forgetful states, I at least have tools. Okay, moving up the bag, we do have two hip pockets. I'll talk about those in a minute. They are very big and very deep and luxurious, so that's really nice. We'll talk about those in a minute. You have a little stuff sack here in the front. This isn't big enough for a jacket unless it was like one of those micro windbreaker jackets that folds up really small. But you can stuff snacks in here or whatever. Then you have a bigger stuff area, and that's back here, and it wraps all the way around the side of the bag. So you could hold a water bottle here. This is all really one area, and I'll show you that. It clips in here, kind of the two sides of the bag, and this whole area. You can stuff things. So you see I have some snacks over there. This is an area that I really like to stuff, say my jacket. When I'm wearing it and it gets hot, and then I stuff it back here, and that works really well. It's a nice stretchy material, it holds it tight. Over the months I've owned it, I've never had any wear on the stretch, so it's still doing a good job. Okay, you think next would be the main compartment, but actually there's a little secret pocket over here, which is awesome. So this is actually a decent sized area. Let me rotate the bag so you can see. This is a decent sized area. It's got some mesh pocket. Here I'm keeping a wallet in there. Here's a little dongle for your keys. another pocket behind the mesh pocket to stuff things in. And then the area is big enough that you can just generally stuff things in there. So I have bandana or a mask because of COVID. Keep that handy. Like I said, wallet. Yeah, there's a lot of room there. Okay, moving up the bag. Before we get to the very main compartment, there's also this top area, which is this scratch-free material. And this is a good spot. You could slide your phone in here. Right now I have my keys in here, but anything you want quick top access to, this is a good spot. Here's a biking feature on the bag. This is a helmet lock. How this is supposed to work is it stretches out. You slip it through the slits in your helmet, and then it holds your helmet to the back of your backpack if you're leaving your bike somewhere but don't want to leave your helmet and bring it with you. It works okay. Some helmets, like mine, don't have those slits. I have a different helmet, my road biking helmet, that does have slits, and it works okay. But then once you start using it and stretch it, then it just kind of hangs out of the bag, and you have to kind of work it back in to get it to stay. So it's a cool feature, but I've never minded I kind of like clip the helmet to the side of my backpack. I've never minded that method, so I don't know. I don't know if this is a super great feature or not. Okay, and then before we get to the main compartment, I'll just mention real quickly, here in the back, we have the zipper for your water bladder, which can loop all the way through here and sit in the back of the bag, get at your back. And the Osprey Raptor 14 does come with these, so you don't have to buy one, but if you wanted to buy one, you could. It has this little magnetic thingy to hold it across your chest. The system is really nice. The bladder is not the best. It had some leaking problems after only a few months, so and there's no lockout feature, it doesn't seem, unless I'm just not smart enough to figure out how to use it. Okay, so here's the main pocket, and now where I'm going to start talking about how I use this for photography. So in the main pocket here, a large area for stuffing things, I have a camera case. Well, before we get to that, I'll just say here's a mesh pocket in the back. Right now I have my phone in there, and there's two little side pockets that you could stuff. They're kind of a strange shape, but just more organizational pockets there, so that's really nice to have. There's a lot of room in here. You can fit a ton of stuff in here, as evidenced by this very large camera bag that I can show you. I'll pull it out. There's that area you can see a little bit better, quite large. So if you're bringing a large camera with a large lens, or even a medium-sized camera with medium lens or a couple lenses, I would suggest getting a camera cube, camera bag system that's not necessarily its own bag, but more meant for putting into other bags. In this case, this is its own bag, but you can use it for my case where I'm sticking in another bag. I had a very specific use case. I wanted to bring my camera out with a 300mm f4 lens, so quite large, about the size of a 70-200 2.8. So here it is in here. So this is my Pentax K-3, so it's an APS-C. This is going to be very difficult one-handed. It's an APS-C camera with a battery grip, and you can see it fits in there nice and snug. And there you go, there's my 300mm lens. So a really big lens on a smaller camera, but with a battery grip, can fit inside this Osprey Raptor 14. It does take up the majority of this room, so you really can't bring anything else bulky. A jacket, snacks, water, tools, obviously. Those are the things you can bring, but so it will take up most of the space. But if you had a little camera cube, you could stick your camera in there and drop it down in there, and yeah, it works great. I'll put the dimensions of this so you can kind of get an idea what might fit in here. That keeps it nice and protective while also giving you the nice comfort and snugness of a real mountain bike backpack. Another way I bring photography gear with me on mountain bike rides is using these hip pockets. I said I was going to talk about that. So these are quite large. I can fit my iPhone 12 in here or my Google Pixel. If you have an XL phone or let's see, a Max, whatever iPhone's name is for those large phones, it would not fit in here. But with a skinny case, with a normal size phone, they fit just barely. I don't put my camera, or I don't put my phone in here all the time, but sometimes I do if I don't have another camera with me. Otherwise, I carry a pocket camera inside here. So a point and shoot camera fits very nicely as long as it's slim. This is the Ricoh GR. I love it because it's like having a DSLR with a wide angle lens right there in your pocket. Incredible quality, 28mm fixed lens, super awesome camera. And then it's on my hip and I can just whip it out. I don't even have to get off the bike. I just kind of sit straddle on the bike, whip it out, take a few pictures, get back on the bike and keep going. So that's awesome as a photographer to have right there. Another thing I do, but I don't have on me right now, so I'll show a video of it as I talk about this, but I also have a capture clip by Peak Design, which is this clip system that you can put on the straps of your backpack, and it allows you to quick release a camera on and off of it. That works really well for medium to small cameras. So either super zoom cameras I find work well, or just a mirrorless camera with a smaller lens, or a small DSLR with a small lens. And as long as you're not biking on anything where you feel like you're gonna go over the bars, then it's actually very secure. I go over some bumpy, chunky stuff and my camera's not gonna fall off. So that's also awesome. If your camera is just a little bit bigger, so it's not gonna fit in the hip pocket, but you do wanna have quick access, you don't have to take off your bag to get to it, then right there is awesome. And I use that with my super zoom camera to get some awesome quick pictures of birds or wildlife where I didn't want to take the time to get off my bag because then they'd run away and the opportunity for that shot would be gone. Also, I'll just mention here that the back of the bag is extremely comfortable. It has this mesh, has these little ridgy foam bumps with pockets back here. Air scape is what it's called, I guess, for their marketing. But it works really well. It does keep the sweat off your back decently. I mean, when it's hot, and when you're working hard, you're working hard, so you're gonna sweat. But I think it does a good job. These, like I said, the backpack has a very huggy feel to it, so the straps hug very tightly to your back in a comfortable way. But so the bag doesn't sway side to side or flop back, and like the back part doesn't come off while the top stays, or it just holds onto your back even when you're going over drops or jumps. So there you have it. That is my quick overview review talking about the Osprey Raptor 14 and how I use it for photography. I love it. I don't think I would go any other way at this point. It's just what I need. It is a little small. Like I said, this APS-C camera with battery grip and the 300mm lens will take up the entirety of that space. But as I mentioned before, that's kind of a good thing. I have way too much camera gear. I'm out here to enjoy nature and to have a fun time, to get some good exercise. And if I brought an enormous camera bag with tons of camera gear, not only would I not use all that camera gear, it would make the whole trip so much worse. All that extra weight and worrying about breaking it all. So I really like this system. If you want more tips for mountain biking, bags, and carrying camera gear, I'm gonna put a link in the description to a video made by Danae and Andrew if you haven't seen their channel. Andrew has a really awesome video where he explains some alternative methods and ideas, different ways to approach carrying camera gear on a mountain bike ride. And I think that's tremendously helpful as well. I just wanted to put out my perspective and what I've found works really well for me. Thanks for watching, and I hope you're having an awesome day. Remember to shoot wherever, with whatever you have, and until next time, happy snapping.